So this will be the Shape It Up challenge for the My Scrappy Life virtual crowd. Today I'm going to walk you through making a heart scrapbooking layout using triangles. But the first thing I'm going to do is some mixed media on the background. I put down some messy mats just to protect my tabletop, and then I'm bringing in some of my shimmer brushes from Close to My Heart. If you're using Stampin' Up products, I would suggest the Wink of Stella, and you can pick up ink from putting ink down on that messy mat and just kind of making your own custom colors. But I brought in 3 different colors and I splattered both of my 12 by 12 sheets. Then I bring in my marbled Elegance papers and I'm cutting these down to 3 by 3 squares, and then I'm lining up the 2 points in the track of my trimmer, and I drop my blade down in the middle, and then I go up and down. The reason I drop it in the middle is because it keeps from crunching those corners. Every once in a while, if there's something caught in your trimmer track or something, then your blade won't go directly in and you don't get that sharp edge cutting. So I have found it best to drop the blade in the center when I'm cutting these triangles. And then I'm going to start building my heart. So I'm using all triangles to build my heart, and I love this. It can really look like a quilted look if you use the right papers, but that's not what I was going for here. So I am building my heart and I'm starting at the bottom, and I used my old Versamat from Close to My Heart because it has measurements all the way around, and I wanted to start at the 6-inch mark. Since I'm using 3-inch squares to cut in half, I will use the full 12 inches of this page to build my heart. So it'll be quite a large heart. But by the time you put pictures on it, you still want to be able to see the shape. And I actually went back and reprinted my pictures so they would be small and you could still get that full effect of the heart that I build. Okay, now this is a very important step. In order to start adhering everything down, I lined my T-ruler up at the 6-inch mark at the top and the bottom. And then I started building from the bottom and going directly up the center of that heart. And that just helps me keep everything square so that I know that everything will fit perfectly, top to bottom, left to right. So I would recommend using a ruler all the way down that 6-inch mark, and then you get the perfect heart. And then the other side of the heart just fills in absolutely perfectly. Now, I fussed a little bit with which triangle goes next to the other, but I didn't spend too much time on it because once you add other things to it, you add pictures, you add a title, you have so much going on your layout, it's not too obvious if you don't like something. Like right there in the middle, you can see it doesn't look like triangles. It looks like a different shape right there under my hand. So it's all right because once I put my title down, you're not going to notice those two that blend right together on the heart once I'm finished. So don't stress too much about how to layer up your triangles. So now I'm just putting on some mini dimensionals. I was trying to use up some mini dimensionals, so I had lots of tiny things to peel off for the backings. But let me tell you about these pictures. So my granddaughters, Avery and Kinsley, were over on one of my snow days, and we were stamping their names on a heart Valentine. They were actually little puzzles, and we printed a little message. We stamped a message on the top of it so that each kid in their daycare could have their own Valentine, and we stamped their names on it, and they turned out really cute. And Avery actually went back and traced her name over top of where we stamped it lightly. But this is the girls doing their Valentines. And then on the facing page, I'm just using up some more of those squares and triangles, and I am putting down 2 pictures of them at daycare, actually preschool, coloring and painting. I guess they were painting their little hearts that said their name and how many letters were in their name is what was on each of the worksheets, and they were just adorable. So I liked these pictures. I liked the bright pink shirts that were in the pictures when they were at preschool. And then I just take some hearts. Now these hearts were cut out of the one that looks like a vine was cut out of the heart-shaped die set, and the others were all cut out of the Adoring Hearts hybrid embossing folder. And it was a hybrid folder so that it actually cut and embossed at the same time. And so I'm just going to cluster these up in 3 different spots around my layout. And can you see how much of that splattering is covered up with all of the pictures and the hearts and the different DSP all around the layout? So I don't try to figure out where it's going to land and where it's not going to land. I just splatter everything and then go from there. And I kind of made a little thing of trailing hearts coming around here. The only thing I really make sure is that the hearts are touching and overlapping when I put them down. That's what I think is the best idea when you're doing a cluster. Sometimes I use a larger item, but this time I just use something small. Okay, so the last thing that I cut with my die cut and embossing machine was a retired, close to my heart thin cut that says "Love you with my whole heart." And I cut the background with our gold brushed foil. It's a specialty paper. And then I cut the rest of it, the saying with the letters, out of cherry cobbler cardstock, so that stood out really nicely. And then I will just put some strips of foam tape on the back and pop that up. I actually popped up all of my pictures and the title on this particular layout just to have it all stand up from all the busyness going on underneath. And then one last step that I did was I brought in some liquid pearls. And I believe I started with maybe my white opal liquid pearls, and I just put some random dots around both pages. And then I brought in my ballerina liquid pearls and continued putting on some of that for the finish off my mixed media part of my layout. And I hope you've enjoyed it and you can give this a try. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crafty inspiration.